Today we're diving into a book that's made huge waves and stirred up a ton of debate. Saifedean Ammous' The Bitcoin Standard. We're going to break down its core arguments, step by step. So the whole book really kicks off with this one central mystery. Why is it that something like gold has been used as money for thousands of years, while countless others, from seashells to government paper, have just fizzled out and failed? What's the secret sauce for money that actually lasts? The first big idea the book throws at us, borrowing from the economist Carl Menger, is that what makes good money isn't a government saying, this is money. Nope, it's an inherent property called salability. Basically, how easy is it to sell something, anytime, without taking a big hit on its price? This one idea is the bedrock for everything else we're going to talk about. Okay, so to really dig into that idea of salability, the author gives us this super powerful framework. He argues that you can understand the entire history of money through one simple epic struggle, the battle between what he calls hard money and easy money. Now, to get what he means, we need two key terms. First up is stock. Just think of stock as all the stuff that already exists. For gold, it's every ounce that's ever been mined in all of human history, all piled up. And on the flip side of stock, you've got flow. If stock is the giant pile we already have, flow is the new trickle of stuff we can add to the pile in a given year. And the relationship between that huge pile and that tiny trickle, well, that's where everything gets really interesting. You put those two together and you get the book's most important metric, the stock-to-flow ratio. It's just simple math. You take the total stock and divide it by the annual flow. The higher that number is, the harder the money is, because any new production is just a tiny drop in a very, very large bucket. And this gives us our two main characters in this story. On one side, hard money, like gold. It has a super high stock-to-flow ratio, it's tough to make more of, so it holds its value. On the other side, easy money. Think seashells, copper, or, as the book argues, the currencies we use today. It's easy to create more, so its value tends to get eroded over time. The book's whole argument is that this one difference explains, well, almost everything. All right, so this is all a bit abstract, right? To make it real, the book tells this absolutely fascinating story from history, the cautionary tale of the rye stones from the tiny Pacific island of Yap. This isn't just a fun fact, it's like a perfect little parable for this whole idea. So for centuries, the people on Yap used these giant donut-shaped stones called rye as their money. They were incredibly difficult to quarry and transport, which made them classic hard money, high stock to flow. But then an outsider showed up with modern tech, explosives, and big boats. All of a sudden, he could churn out new rye stones like crazy. The flow of new money exploded. And what happened? The stones became easy money. Their value completely crashed, and the islanders eventually just stopped using them. The book calls this the easy money trap. Now, here's the kicker. The book argues that what happened on that tiny island isn't just a one-off story. It's a pattern that has played out again and again, but on the scale of entire civilizations. It uses this hard versus easy money lens to look at the rise and fall of empires. Let's take the Roman Empire. The book claims its golden age was built on a solid gold coin, the aureus, a classic hard money. But then, emperors like Nero got greedy. They started clipping coins, mixing in cheaper metals to pay their bills. Over centuries, Roman money got easier and less trusted. The author draws a straight line from that monetary rot to the eventual collapse of the entire empire. And this pattern just keeps popping up. Think about the Dark Ages, where trade collapsed under a mess of unreliable, easily debased coins. And then, the Renaissance. Where did it start? In Florence. And what did Florence do in 1252? It reintroduced a stable gold coin, the florin. The book argues it's no coincidence. This return to sound, hard money is what kickstarted a new golden age of trade, art, and science. Okay, so that's the historical backdrop. But then the book brings this framework crashing into our world today, an era it calls the age of fiat money, money controlled by governments. And to really get the modern problem, we need one more concept, and it's a huge one: time preference. It sounds complicated, but it's simple. It's just how much you value today over tomorrow. If you have a low time preference, you're all about saving and investing for the future. You can delay gratification. High time preference, you want it all and you want it now. So here's the big connection the book makes, linking money directly to culture. It argues that sound money, money that holds its value, naturally makes people think about the future. It encourages saving, it encourages a low time preference. But what about money that constantly loses value to inflation? Well, if you know your money's going to be worth less next year, why save it? You're better off spending it now. The book claims this pushes entire societies toward a high time preference, and that affects everything. And the author doesn't just say this, he points to the data. Look at the savings rates in major Western economies. Since the world went off the gold standard for good in 1971, they've absolutely plummeted. The book's argument is that this is no accident. It's a direct result of living with easy inflationary money. In looking ahead, the picture the book paints gets even starker. The supply of gold grows at a slow, predictable rate, but the supply of major government currencies, it's projected to expand way, way faster. From the book's point of view, this is the fundamental problem of our time, a system built on constantly creating more money and destroying the value of our savings. So after laying out centuries of this problem, from ancient Rome to today, the book finally pivots to what it presents as a potential solution, built for the digital age, Bitcoin. So what was the big breakthrough with Bitcoin? According to the author, it wasn't just creating digital money. We kind of had that already. The true invention, the genius of it, was creating digital scarcity. Think about it. Before Bitcoin, anything digital, a file, a photo, an MP3, could be copied 1,000,000 times, perfectly. Bitcoin solved what's called the double spend problem, and in doing so, created a digital thing that is verifiably rare. So how does Bitcoin actually stack up? Well, let's go back to that chart of projected money supply growth. When you add Bitcoin to the mix, you get what is really the climax of the book's entire argument. Because Bitcoin's supply is absolutely fixed in its code, its growth rate is not only low, it's predictable, and it's set to become even lower than gold's. By the book's own metric, that stock-to-flow ratio, this makes Bitcoin the hardest money humanity has ever created. And what makes that possible? It all comes down to one single number, 21 million. The book argues that for the first time in history, we have a type of money where the total supply is absolutely, verifiably, unchangeably finite. It's not just hard to make more, it's impossible. And that perfect, predictable scarcity is what the book presents as its ultimate, game-changing feature. So to wrap it all up, the book's conclusion is that Bitcoin basically takes the best of both worlds. It has the monetary hardness of gold, but you can send it across the globe with the click of a button. Its rules are set in stone by math, not tweaked by politicians. For the author, it represents a real potential escape hatch from that historical easy money trap and a chance to build a new, sound money for the whole world. And that leaves us with the book's final, massive question. If the author's right, if the type of money we use really does shape our entire culture, from how much we save to how we plan for the future, then what would it mean for society to adopt a new form of perfectly scarce digital hard money? Could it really change everything? That's the powerful, provocative idea at the very heart of the Bitcoin standard.